Good evening. This is Roski Maskani. Today is June 20th, 2020. And last week on June 13th, I uploaded a audio of, of our male and female relationship, and the sound quality wasn't all that good. So I'm uploading it again. So here we go. Male and female relationship. Iration.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. So we're coming back with another one, and I want to talk about what's going on currently to kind of give, if we're looking back on this day, which is June 14th, 2020, and we want to kind of, when you go back and look at things, you want to look at what happened. It's sort of like serves as history. So I want to kind of talk about what's going on currently, the popular news of the day.
Okay.
So, Brother Iration,
Yes, sir.
get us going with current news items.
Well, what I see right now as of today, we have what I see going on today, as of today, look like we have some just outright war tactics on blacks. I mean, brothers are still getting hung, still getting murdered by police officers out in the open, and we still getting the same old usual lie. They had a gun, they was reaching for a gun. So basically the message that's being sent to us is it's okay to murder blacks out in the open and just use the same old excuses and the same old lies. So for me,
So let's get some specifics. So I was watching the news yesterday, and there was a hanging in Victorville,
okay,
which was 2 weeks ago, and just recently, in the past couple of days, there was another hanging in Palmdale, and this is California. Then also, you have a killing by the police in Atlanta, where a guy was wrestling with the cops, and he got one of the cops' taser guns and was running away from the cop, and the cop shot him as he was running away. So that's three, just three deaths that's out there in the news. That's popular news. Now that's not talking about the other deaths that's occurring. There's more as we speak. Then you have COVID-19, and then you have massive protests behind George Floyd being murdered, which ignited massive protests around the world. But if we look at it, it's the same things going on that's been going on, especially with hangings. You don't hear about hangings, and who are getting hanged? It's black men. So it's kind of mind-boggling.
well, just to add to that, some years back, there was a guy in Mississippi that they killed and cut his head off. So I mean, this is the same thing back in just like in slavery days. So what this is an outright open attack on black people. And the message that's being sent is that it's okay to murder blacks. There was another case a few years back in Louisiana, which was Jason Smith, a 14-year-old. They killed him. Father came to California to get him some clothes. When he got here, a couple days drive from Louisiana, got a phone call, his son was dead. When he got back, they had taken all the organs out of his body, stuffed him with towels. So this, like I said, this is an outright attack on black people in a lot of different forms. So what it tells me is this: the police are basically the guard dogs for your so-called upper echelon of people. That's their first level of protection, and this is why it's hard to get convicted when these people just outright murder people in cold blood. So basically, the message is being sent. it's in your face. What you gonna do? I also there's a lot of other things that are going on in the news that are not being reported too. There's more people fighting back. There's more people getting things done. But the news media is not going to report it because it's controlled, and they don't want the masses to know that other people are sick and tired of this madness. But go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, so just wanted to touch on a few things that's in popular news right now. So now, you know, Brother Iration and I, and this is Rasaki Maskani, by the way, we are taking it upon ourselves to aid the effort of improving things for especially for Black people, because we are the ones that's not sort of, but targeted to keep us in a position of servitude, just like other people of color. But we have joined the team of people that's trying to wake up people to so we can have a change here. We need a change. So one thing about when you're giving out information, everybody has their perspective, and also people perceive things in a certain manner. So therefore, I want to talk to Brother Iration about perception and perspective. So what would you say perception is, Brother Iration?
Well, perception is basically what a person inference that they have drawn from life experience or whatever information that they're getting, and they're basically giving you their point of view.
So perspective would be then what see, I write.
Okay.
I've been writing for the past 6 or 7 years. And so what I do is in my writings, I give my perspective in how I perceive things to be, and how I learned and gathered information. And now I'm giving my perspective. So
basically where you stand. This is where a person actually stands, where they are, mindset.
So then with that, and with me and brother here giving our perspectives, now it's just a perspective. You can take it the way you want to take it, but we're going to give it, and it could be a learning experience for people. And what if they agree, or maybe they may hear something that's helpful. We want to give our perspective. And so our topic today, we're going to deal with male and female relationship. Last week, we just basically, that was our first video. We basically just had an open conversation. Now we're being a little bit more specific. So I want to kind of set the table and give like a foundation about, some base knowledge about what we're going to talk about. So I would say, what is a relationship? What do relationship mean? What is the meaning of relationship?
Well, basically, two or more people intermingling and interacting with each other, and basically their interaction with each other is going to be based on their life experiences, their concepts, and what they've drawn from their life experiences, and how they came out of the experiences will determine the type of relationship people have. But also in these relationships, people have to look to be open-minded and to look to always be learning and looking to always be on the improve. And don't be afraid to do research. Don't be afraid to do reading. And don't be afraid to do your own homework. You can't just take what somebody else tell you face value. Do your own homework.
So now, when you have a male and female relationships, what is the basic reason a male and a female would come together? What is the purpose of male and female actually coming together?
Well, basically, it's normal. That's nature, opposite attract, and usually, well, what it's supposed to be. one should be able to fill in where the other is weak. So where one has strong points, the other has to respect that. And where the other one has strong points, that has to be respected. And you have to put these points and information and work together as a team to strive for a common goal and to get better as a unit and work together.
So when man and woman come together, they come together to survive, thrive, and to
Childbearing,
reproduce,
childbearing.
Yeah, to keep going, to further keep yourself on the earth. But as I was learning in Black studies, we look at reproduction as keeping yourself on the earth, keep going.
Absolutely.
Throughout life, through the physical realm of life. Yes.
So I agree with you on that. But in so doing, it's a growing process and it's a learning process. And where we are today, Black male and Black female.
So I was gonna ask you some questions, some specific questions. So I was just laying a base here, and I want to see if you agree with this. If any male that is healthy and can reproduce, and any female that is healthy and can reproduce, and we're not talking about race. So any male and female come together and can reproduce. What do that tell you about race then? Where do race play a role in that?
It really doesn't.
So
I mean, it could play a role in the product being produced, but
see, this is why I say this. If you take any healthy male, any healthy female, no matter what their racial background is,
right,
and they can reproduce, something's going on with that. So now and related to the system that we're living in, we're living in a racial system. So therefore, even though, and I'm saying this for a reason, even though we have this racialized system that's dominated by one particular group, right?
Right.
So we have that. Since it's dominated by them, which places other ethnic groups in a position of servitude or subjugation, that means that we're not living the way we supposed to be living because everything is racialized.
Right.
So what our goal is to help uplift African people. So therefore, there's an ultimate goal beyond the upliftment of African people. But since we're in this predicament we're in, being on basically the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to a racial society, that means that we need to work on us first, and then we can work on the advancement of humanity, if you can agree with that.
Oh, I agree with that. What's the first law of preservation? Self, right?
Yes.
So that's the first law of preservation. And I mean, if you just notice throughout history, there's always been genocide efforts against our people, and it's going on right now, full bore. So in order for us to make sure that we do not become extinct, we got to work on these things. We have to work on the male and female relationship and strengthen that. We have to really strengthen it because you got a lot of homes now where you just have one parent children.
Single parent home.
Single parent.
So I want to ask you some specific questions.
Okay.
And then if you want me to talk about it, I will too.
Okay.
So this is the first question.
Okay.
What is the current state of male and female relationships, period? What's the current state?
You mean black?
Black, white, whatever.
Well, I can't really speak. Truthfully, it would be hard for me to speak on somebody else. I can only speak on what I know and from my experience, and that would be from the black experience.
Okay, so go ahead.
And I want your opinion as well too.
Go ahead.
But I think the relationship level is at a critical level. Like I said, we have a lot of single parent homes, and children are designed to learn and draw from not just one parent. It's designed to learn. The child is designed to learn from a mother and a father. Different. A mother and a father brings different things to the relationship. Now you got mothers trying to be mothers and fathers. You got mothers with children with no father figure, and they're raising boys. So how do you teach a boy to become a man? When does that happen? What things do you do in him? Do you give him responsibility?
So I want to interject there.
Okay.
So you're saying you're talking about specifically the state of black male and female relationships. So I'm going to reference Neely Fuller.
Okay.
And I don't know if many people can accept this or agree with it, but Neely Fuller said that if you are a person of color, you're subject to the system of racism, white supremacy. Therefore, you cannot be a man or a woman in this system because you're subject to people that would be considered white supremacists. You're at the dictates of them. So he says that we're boys and girls, and we're in a prison camp.
Okay.
And he said we muddling around in a prison camp, and it's kind of interesting that he say that, because let me give an example. We have, and this is kind of going towards. I'm gonna go off track just a little bit when it comes to behavior. Okay, now if you look at the guy that got killed by the police in Atlanta, he was in a driveway at Wendy's, and he was just sitting there in the drive-through, and he was sitting there for a long, extended amount of time without moving. So, what was the state of that person's mind when he was just sitting in the drive-through for this amount of time? Now, this is what I'm getting from the news. So, our behavior is at times a behavior that attracts police to us, and we put ourselves in a position to get hurt. So my point is, the man, I don't know if he was there for an extended amount of time because he was getting off of work, he was tired or whatever. I think they said that he had alcohol in his system, but because they did a breathalyzer, I guess, on him, made him do some tests. But what are we doing? What type of behaviors are we displaying that draws attention to us for them to even? They already. I mean, you just got to say it, like, we already are targets. So why are we bringing more attention to ourselves? So the behaviors is sort of like little kids when you don't manage yourself. And another thing, Neely Fuller said, how could you be a man when you don't manage yourself? He said the white supremacist manages us. So that was a good point. So the guy, I don't know why he was in that that drive-through for an extended amount of time, but what are we doing, and how are we behaving to even be able to act a certain way?
Well, but you said, but it still goes back to slavery. People are still suffering from this post-slavery syndrome, and the mindset. I mean, a lot of people have a sense of absolutely no hope. And first of all, you're targeted as a black male anyway. But the flip side of that is this: where is the humanity side from the other people that are killing and shooting these people? Where is that side at? It's not there. You're dealing with cold-blooded, calculated murderers that lie. And so what happened, our people are fighting for justice, and they're just fighting just to justify it. So this is what we're working with. So, I mean, to me, if I saw a white person just sitting there and wasn't bothering anybody doing anything, why would I want to come up and kill that person? See, that you're looking at, you got to look at the other side. You got to look at the nature side of them. And a lot of our people don't have history, real history. We're brought up in their educational system, which deprives us from facts and truth, and we pushed along, and we don't really know our history.
So you're saying we're placed in a position,
You're born in the position.
we're born in a position where everything is against us.
And everything is almost
And
set for you.
then I say that we're taking on the personality of the people who captured us.
Well, what we're doing, we bought into a lot of concepts.
Yes.
Drugs, religion,
Liquor.
All these things. But guess what? When a person's mind is depressed and you feel no hope, and senselessly, like you have no help, you never know what that person's state of mind is going to be. But how often do you see our people go out and just attack and kill people? That's not our nature. We're dealing with beasts on this planet, and our people need to be able to see and understand that.
So, and the people that do go out and attack and kill people,
it's
taking on the personality.
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's in response to a point where you've got to the point, well, you can't take anymore. So I'll say this. You can take the nicest of individuals and you can push them to the point where they could snap and go off and kill. So when you take away a person's very existence to live and they don't have anything to live for, that person becomes dangerous. Now, if you don't have anything to live for, that means you're willing to kill. That means you're willing to die.
So you placed in a almost a no-win situation.
Absolutely.
So you're crying out, and you don't know that you don't know how to get help. So you basically lose your mentality.
Listen, our people have not healed from slavery.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that, and a lot of people don't want to accept that. But that's how they feel. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, because we talk about, the question was, what is the state of black male and female relationships in relationships, period? Well, Neely Fuller, I'm going to quote him again. He said, under the system of racism, white supremacy, you have the 3 T's when it comes to relationship: tacky, terroristic, and trashy. So with these 3 T's, now I would encourage anybody that listened to this video to start listening to Neely Fuller or go and look up some of his videos, because to me the man makes a lot of sense. And if you think about what he's saying, is to me it's phenomenal. But if you think about anybody that listened to this video, if you think about your relationship, and I'm not personalizing this, but if you think about your relationships and how you interacted with the opposite sex, do it fit one of those categories? Trashy, tacky, or terroristic? Now, you should be able to define those words for yourself, but just think about your interactions with any of the opposite sex that you ever dealt with. So that's the state of black male and female relationships could easily fit under that description. What you got to say about that? And I want you to finalize it so we can move on.
Well, like I said, it goes back to slavery when the women, well, I'll give you an example. They would take a slave, tie both his legs to a horse in front of the women, and have the horses run in the opposite direction. So these women are seeing their men just being destroyed. So they feel like, what, a man can't protect us.
Yeah.
So
quickly relate that to now, like the female during slavery time, doing slavery breaking, attacks like that. Now, give us an example of that right now.
Oh, right now, I mean, hey, you get brothers gunned down in the street, brothers in jail. I mean, no job. Women can get better jobs than men. Excuse me. So,
is this a part of divide and conquer?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So you got women that are making more money than the men, and so sometimes that draws a line.
Yeah, they take on an attitude where it's, man, I'm making this money. What are you doing?
Right.
And that could cause issues and rifts between black males and females. So our position plays a very critical role in how we relate to each other in the demise of our relationships and all of this. So, I'm glad you said that.
Television is another one too.
Television.
Television is another. You know, you have all these movies with these negative connotations and negative messages about blacks, and this has an effect.
Perpetual imaging of black men and women,
Negative interactions,
images,
negative interactions.
the reoccurring of just terrible behavior.
Yeah, you have a homosexual agenda that's being pushed on people. So I mean, you got just it's just an array of things. And
so let's just touch on that quickly.
Okay.
So when you have male and female relationships, that the one of the direct opposition to that is homosexuality. Would you say that?
Oh, absolutely, and that's an agenda that's being pushed on the people, that's being pushed on television. And I just touched lightly on it. I don't want to get into it too deep, but let's just food for thought. Let's just say you took all males on the planet and put them on one island, and we took all the females and put them on another island for 100 years. Think about that and tell me what would happen. The answer would be, both male and female would be extinct. So what I'm saying is this: some things are not natural, and when you start getting away from nature, these are the things that you get. And you have to look at the mindset that's being dominated on the planet. This white European mindset is dominating the planet, and many of our people have bought into it. But we got to get back.
So is it safe to say that the way that this system is set up is an incorrect system?
Oh, this system it's a capitalistic society, and basically what that means is we're gonna capitalize on your ignorance, and capitalize on you not having, and we're gonna make sure that you don't have. Okay, so that's what this system is. So our people have to get to and stay with common sense, logic, and sound right reasoning. You cannot escape that. I don't care how you look at it.
You said a lot right there. Next question: how do race relate to male and female relationships? And we touched on a lot of that, but you want to go further?
How does race?
What role do race play in male and female relationships?
Well, actually, it should. Well, that's kind of a tough question because right now you got a lot of interracial couples. I mean, you got interracial couples.
Well, I would say this: in an advanced, harmonic type of society and mindset and system, since male and female healthy can reproduce, race wouldn't be it would be like a last type of factor. I mean, groups of people, the evolution of man.
Well, who came
people
up
are mixing. People are mixing.
Who came up with the terminology race?
Well, see, that's
questionable.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It's a concept that was put on everybody by this system. It's a conceptual way of doing things, and since we have that, this is why we have all these issues. But since people are able to come together and intermingle, I guess throughout years, eventually the system may erode through just race mixing.
Well, when you think of the word race, you think of somebody winning, right? If you had a race, you think about somebody winning.
Yeah, concepts.
Right. So the white race is on top.
There you go.
The white dominators and the blacks on the bottom. We got white angel food cakes. The devil food cake is black. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just basically a system that's not beneficial for all, and it has to go. And one day it will. Well, I would say it will.
Unfortunately, we're born in the system, and if nobody ever tell you, sometimes it's a learning process, and a lot of times, by the time a lot of people find out, they could be in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. So it's a continuous learning experience. But the common sense, sound right reasoning, and some logic, you can't get past that.
Okay, well, let me get to the next question. What factors contribute to male and female relationships positively it negatively.
Okay. Well, first of all, when you enter into a relationship, dating, or whether you're married or not, you're looking at this person and this person looks beautiful for you. This person has a nice body. They talk good. They have beautiful eyes. They might be driving a good car. They might have a big, fantastic home. And these are the things that people are looking at initially. But the reality of it is this. When you enter into a relationship with a person, you are entering into concepts. You enter into the concepts that that person is carrying. You enter into their life experiences and what they have drawn from their life experiences. And different people come out of experiences different. Some people come out bitter. Some people come out open-minded. Some people take it for what it was worth, and they're willing to work with another person based on how that person treats them.
So let's dissect it a little bit.
Okay.
So you're saying that a person is being formed and shaped as they're growing up through childhood and coming into adulthood.
Right.
They're formulating all of these ideas and concepts, like you said.
From everything around them.
Yeah, they're like a sponge.
Exactly. The household they grow up in.
Yes.
Television, mommy, daddy, all these things.
So when people hook up, then
these concepts of these.
So those are some of the factors. Is that those factors of being raised a certain way and encompassing all this information?
Religion.
I
mean, I've had people say, "Well, look, if you're gonna be with me, you gotta embrace Jesus." I mean, I know a lot of guys have lost their woman to Jesus. I haven't seen Jesus in 62 years. Now, how could that be?
Well, I see. I don't like to pun fun on people's belief systems.
We don't.
But I always tell, this is just something, I'm a little silly at times. I always tell people that I'm around, because I've been teaching for almost 25 years.
All right.
So I tell people and students and all that, I said, I ran into a lot of Jesuses. I had a lot of Jesuses that I've taught because I work in an area where there's Black and Hispanic. So I done taught a lot of Jesuses. So, and people take that the wrong way. I'm just letting them know that that's a belief. You believe that, and what I do is I call it. I don't have a belief system. I have a it is system, like based off of reality. Well, go ahead and say it.
Well, like I said, common sense.
Common sense.
And sound right reasoning. Now,
logic and sound right reasoning, and that's what I've been working with. And I can't knock nobody for what they believe.
Well,
but these are concepts that contribute.
Well, we have to go and look at belief versus fact. We have to look at facts versus feelings. Okay, so we're coming back to reality. We're coming back to logic, and we're coming back to common sense. Now, a person, they can think and believe whatever they want. But to me, I think a good thing to do is do some research and some homework, and don't just get locked into what somebody else tell you.
Oh, I want to go somewhere with this. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm going to go somewhere with this. Okay, now, when we're living, right, and there's different realms of life, okay, a person or one person is with themselves all the time. And what they internalize, how they think and what they feel, what they go through is their own experience.
That's right.
So I would say that religion becomes internal. And then reflection external, but internal, but each and every individual is different based off of what they've been through and how they perceive things and so now let me finish, and I'm gonna get right to you.
I want to add something.
So the realm, you got an individual realm,
right?
And you have a collective realm, and then you have birth and you have death. So therefore, we're in this physical realm,
right?
And we're learning. They talk about metaphysics and all kind of things that relate to what we're talking about, but we don't really understand what a person is going through totally because that's their own personal and private way of thinking.
And I don't have a problem with it, but I'm gonna bring you right back to common sense, logic, and sound right reason.
Go ahead.
Okay, those very people that you say maybe they internalize and it might come out different, and we don't know what they're going. But I guarantee you, if you took every person on the planet and had them standing in front of a big rig that's going 90 miles an hour, every last one of them will get the same result. So is that reality, fact, logic, or common sense? So now at that point, I have asked somebody that question. They told me about somebody walking on water and this and that. Okay, fine, if you believe that. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, my understanding of that would be if you have a strong spiritual strength on the inside,
Right.
even though you may be killed physically by that big rig running you over, right?
You're gonna be done, period.
Yeah, you're gonna be done, but they may think that because of their teachings that their unseen spirit is gonna fly to a certain place and this and that.
Hey, do we know anybody that know that's been there, been back?
Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Do we know anybody that
I don't know of anybody that actually been dead
well,
and came back to me.
Well, I guarantee you, the very people that professing this and that, ask how many of them will actually walk out in front of that 90 mile per hour big rig. You know what they're gonna tell me? I ain't crazy.
Okay,
so
okay, but I don't want to just keep going.
That's okay.
More and more into that.
No, we're just talking about logic and common sense right now.
We only know what's going to happen to us when it happens. Is that safe to say?
Well,
and when I'm talking, when it comes to your thoughts and spirituality.
Well, that could well be true.
When you come to that death, when you come to death.
Well, are you talking about physical death?
Yeah, physical death.
Physical death, you're done.
And so only one can just assume what's going to happen.
That's after that. That's all it is an assumption. So guess what?
Yeah.
People can believe whatever they want. I don't want to get into an argument with a person, but I want to keep it as close to reality and common sense, facts, and sound right reason as possible.
So that's a factor you think that contributes to
growth,
the vision of men and women.
Growth on any level.
Is religion.
Growth on okay.
Yeah.
Go plant some seeds out there and pour gasoline on it. Do you think they're gonna grow?
Well, that's nature.
No, that's common sense.
Yeah.
That's common. Listen, we're talking basic logic and common sense.
Nature.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was okay. So religion is one negative factor.
Well,
could be one negative factor.
I'm just saying, religion has stifled a person's ability to look at the reality of things. And I'll give you an example, even like currently today. Okay, the people are marching with signs and say we shall overcome. They've been doing that for how many years, and what kind of results have we been getting? So when you're doing the same thing over and you're not getting results, you got to question that.
Yeah. So this is why we're doing what we're doing,
right?
Just to invoke thought
now
on how we can do some things different.
Well, let's go back to slave master giving you the religion and giving you this hope. Now, I don't know if you know, you ever heard of a diagnostic service manual?
Oh, you told me about that, and you say you have a book.
I actually have a copy. I have to locate it for you. But anyway, this is a service manual that's used by professionals in the psychiatric and psychology industry. Yeah. And in that particular book, it says that if a person, now this is the people that gave us religion, but now they got this book that says that any person that believes in a belief system, basically you got a mental problem. So now that's deep. Now I'm just reporting, okay? That's all I'm doing. But do your own homework.
Well, we know that there is religious fanaticism. People, they go crazy with religion. And I mean, it's like overindulgence. So I guess if you don't create a certain balance in your life, to separate certain things when you interacting with people, when you're relating to people, male and female, it could become a problem when you overindulge in certain things.
Well, let's just go back to some more common sense, some basic logic, and sound right reason. And we're not even talking critical thinking right now. We're just talking basic. Okay, Tell me 3 things you believe in. Or do you want to know 3 things I believe in?
Well, I can tell you.
Tell me what you believe in.
Well, I have an issue with the word belief.
Okay, thank you.
Because I would say that I equate belief with trusting. Like if you tell me something, Ray, Iration,
Okay.
if you tell me something, either I'm going to trust what you're telling me is correct or not.
But that's based on me because you know my character.
Yeah.
But the reason I ask you about belief is because a lot of people can tell you what they believe, but they can't prove it to you. Now, do you believe you got on a pair of shoes and a pair of socks? Do you believe that or do you know it?
I know that.
Okay, but do you have to believe it? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. You have to trust.
Are we sitting here next to each other? Do you believe we sitting here next to each other? Which one is it?
I know we sitting there next to each other.
So there's a difference between belief and no.
That's right.
Do you have hair on your head or do you believe you have hair on your head?
I have some hair on my head.
Okay, so
and on my face.
So do you believe you're breathing right now? Or do you know you're breathing?
I know I'm breathing.
So we just covered 4 or 5 things that you know. Now, do you believe you can walk on water?
I've never tried to walk on water. Every time I jumped in water, I always went down in the water.
Well, do you think anybody else can do it? I mean, just
logically
speaking.
Well,
logically speaking, not knocking anything.
No. Well, see, this is why this goes back to Christmas, Easter Bunny, and all that.
Okay.
We are being told that something is, and then we find out as we progress on in life, we find out that what was said is not.
Well, no, not some of us. Everybody don't. You got some people that still believe, and I'm not knocking a person believe. You're entitled to believe whatever you want.
Okay, this is let's kind of end this. Okay. This is why I said that a person is with themselves all the time. So what their personal thoughts are their personal thoughts. We being in the system of white supremacy, racism, we need to end that system because it's not beneficial for multitudes of people.
It's only been beneficial for the people that have it in place.
So therefore, we have to come together. We got to be able to relate to each other to dismantle the mentality that we have as people.
And we have to recognize that we are not really each other's enemy. Our enemy is somebody else. See, so while we're bickering and carrying on, these people got the same thing going on. So we have to put our minds together to be able to get rid of that outside influence, and then we can deal with truth and growth.
Well, see, you going in some other areas, you talk about enemy. A person can be their own worst enemy.
I don't deny that either. Especially if you believe you can get in front of a big rig going 90 miles an hour and you're going to be okay. You don't think you're your own worst enemy?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, see.
And the key word is believe.
Okay, so therefore, we need to better relate to each other. We pointed out a few things that are factors that kind of tears us down when we come to relating to the opposite sex. So what are some positive factors contributing to male and female relationships?
Well, one thing, you got to have a good open line of communication, and you got to be willing to grow. And like I said, you cannot get away from common sense, logic, sound right reason. And one other key factor is a good in-depth knowledge into your history and your enemy's history to know what has happened, what is happening, and still is going on. Once you can get those things into your gas tank, you can get the vehicle rolling.
So either people are going to agree with what we're saying as far as the conceptual knowledge of Africans in America and abroad having an enemy, or they're not.
Well, well, guess what? It could be that simple for some. For others, it's not. Some people, like I said, when you don't have a historical base, a good historical learning base, and you're watching these word masters on television and you're waiting for the next word, these people are geniuses in mind control. So, I mean, they convince hundreds of thousands every day. They'll tell you something with a little truth and add 4 or 5 lies to it. That's mixed messages. People are confused, but everybody's not confused by that. So you got to have a good historical base, common sense, logic, sound right reasoning, those factors right there. And don't be willing to take anybody's word for anything. Start doing your own homework. At one time, I had no idea that we had scholars on the line that were trying to wake us up. When I first discovered that, I've been on a mission ever since to learn as much as I can. Learn, 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 learn.
I want to say something, and I want people to hear me. I listened to Dr. Neely, well, he's not a doctor, but Neely Fuller Jr. on a consistent basis. And he said this, and I'm in the 90% of agreement with him. He said that until we solve this one major problem,
Right.
which is racism, white supremacy, all other problems won't go away. He said that's the biggest problem. And because we are in this system,
Right.
I mean, we have our own little individual problems, not little or large or whatever. We have our individual issues, which we overcome. You know, you have those, or some people don't overcome them. But the major issue is the system of white supremacy, racism. And until that's solved, we always going to have these issues. And I'm going to give an example. We just reported, well, the reports that we heard, 2 black men being lynched recently, another black man being shot in Atlanta, you know, and these are the things that keep going on no matter what we're doing, protesting all of this. We still have this major issue. So I know we're working towards getting rid of it, but we have to have a clear focus on doing that.
I don't disagree with you.
A clear focus on dismantling, and a lot of it is mentality. A lot of it starts in your mind too, where you have to be able to recognize what we're in order to build to get out of it. Wow. And this is you talk about the concepts, right. All of these concepts that we've learned, and all of this and that is barriers to us becoming better and changing our situation.
Well, how do you know you have a problem to solve if you don't know you have a problem? So you got to be aware.
Mental illness, right? That's mental. If you have an issue that you're going through and you don't know you have it, that's contributed to mental illness.
What about the ostrich program? Some people want to put their head in the sand and pretend like it just don't exist and it's gonna go away. That's not gonna happen either. So we come back to some reality, dealing with some facts. So, and then the other thing that we're doing right now, everybody just don't go from 0 to 100 overnight. So like I told you about planting the seed and putting gasoline on it, we're trying to plant a seed, a positive seed, and we're going to put the right fertilizer on it and the right things to make the seed grow. And see, some people don't just go from unconsciousness to consciousness overnight. Some people grow a little at a time, some people grow faster than others, and some people just going to stay stuck. So the best we can do is the best we can. But you cannot, and you will not, and you will never be able to get away from common sense, logic, sound right reason.
So let's just reiterate real quick about what are some factors that are positive that can contribute to, the male and female.
Positive factors, good communication, open-minded, a willing ability to learn, a good historical base, Also, I can just from playing ball in college, I understand
The concept of
the
teamwork.
concept of teamwork and two people working together and each person recognizing the other person's strength and putting those together,
Become a unit.
becoming a unit, and then you can go forth with that. So those are some of the positive factors. And you'd be surprised. I can tell you something else that will probably help a lot of people too. Turn off the television.
Turn off the television. Now, what about is give and take? Give and take, is that a positive factor?
Oh, absolutely. Because first of all, when you're interacting with a person, you cannot expect perfection. We're all human. We're all subject to error. But if a person is willing to try and work with you, and y'all try and work together, then you probably can work through some things. Sometimes it may be difficult. Sometimes it may be impossible based on the concept that that person carries. I mean, could you imagine a Christian and a Muslim being married? Could you imagine what that would be like? I'm not knocking Christian. I'm not knocking a Muslim.
Islam,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm not knocking any of that, but I'm just saying, could you imagine that marriage and that relationship? There's gonna always be some beef there because
Yeah.
we carry different concepts.
Yeah, so there has to be some common ground to grow from.
Well, the common ground is the ability to want to grow and the ability to want to learn, and have an open mind.
Got it.
You know,
So let's kind of get to the conclusion here. We're working on almost an hour, Brother Iration. So now we're I don't want to personalize this, but I want to ask you, moving forward, what will you do when it comes to interacting with the opposite sex? What will you do personally?
first of all, as a man, we're supposed to be humble. We have to set the tone. We have to be the example. We have to be the insurance to make sure food's on the table. We have to be the protector. We have to be the disciplinarian.
So here's the things that you're going to do when interacting with females.
As a man,
Yeah.
and just from my experience alone from dealing with black females, because that's all I've ever had in my life. Sometimes it takes some patience, it's some giving and taking. And if they're willing to work with you and y'all can work together, I'm pretty sure you can work through it.
Okay, so now what I can add to that is I'm basically gonna learn. I'm learning from my experiences, and I'm always gonna strive to do best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So
continue to learn.
so you want to say anything before we sign on out?
No, I think that's it for today. We can pick it back up next time and just hey, black male, black female, we got our children at stake and their future is being threatened. And we have to work on that.
Is being threatened or is threatened?
It is threatened.
Gotcha.
Threat toward extinction.
Wow. So the name of this YouTube channel is Mental Awakening. Let's wake up our minds.